Hungary exhibition took part in Operation Barbarossa, supplying 50,000 Jewish slave labor for the Eastern Front. Most of the workers were dead by January 1943. Later that year, Hitler discovered that Prime Minister Miklos Calais secretly conferred with the Western Allies. To stop him, Germany launched the Operation Marguerite in March 1944 and took over control of all Jewish affairs. 75. On the 29th of April 1944, the first deportation of Hungarian Jews to Birkenau took place. 63. Between 15 the 25th of May, according to SS Brigade Führer Edmund Wiesenmayer, 138,870 Jews had been deported. On the 31st of May 1944, Wiesenmayer reported an additional 60,000 Jews were sent to the camps in 6 days, while the total for the past 16 days stood at 204,312 victims. 63. Between May and July 1944, helped by Hungarian police, the German Sicherheitspolizei deported nearly 440,000 Hungarian Jews, mainly to Auschwitz-Birkenau, 78, 79, or 437,000 at the rate of 6,250 per day. 63. Approximately 320,000 Hungarian Jews are estimated to have been murdered at Auschwitz-Birkenau 4 July 1944. 80. On the 8th of July, the deportation of Jews from Hungary had stopped due to international pressure by the Pope, the King of Sweden, and the Red Cross, all of whom had recently learned about the intent of it. 63. However, in October 1944, some 50,000 Jews were forced on a death march to Germany following a coup d'état which put the Hungarian pro-Nazi government back in control. They were forced to dig anti-tank ditches on the road westward. A further 25,000 Jews were put in an international ghetto under Swedish protection engineered by Karl Lutz and Raoul Wallenberg. When the Soviet army liberated Budapest on the 17th of January 1945, of the original 825,000 Jews in the country, 81, less than 260,000 Jews were still alive. 81, 82, including 80,000 Hungarian natives. 83, 84, Italy. Italian Holocaust train exhibition, Verona. The popular view that Benito Mussolini resisted the deportation of Italian Jews to Germany is widely seen as simplistic by Jewish scholars. 85. Because the Italian Jewish community of 47,000 constituted the most assimilated Jews in Europe. 86. About 1 out of every 3 Jewish males were members of the fascist party before the war began. More than 10,000 Jews who used to conceal their identity. 86. Because antisemitism was part of the very ideal of Italianita. Wrote Wiley Feinstein. 87. The Holocaust came to Italy in September 1943 after the German takeover of the country due to its total capitulation at Cassabio. 87. By February 1944, the Germans shipped 8,000 Jews to Auschwitz-Birkenau via Austria and Switzerland. 88. Although more than half of the victims arrested and deported from northern Italy were rounded up by the Italian police and not by the Nazis. 85. Also between September 1943 and April 1944, at least 23,000 Italian soldiers were deported to work as slaves in the German war industry, while over 10,000 partisans were captured and deported during the same period to Birkenau. By 1944, there were over 500,000 Italians working for the benefit of the German war machine. 89. Netherlands. The Netherlands was invaded on the 10th of May 1940 and fell under German military control. The community of native Dutch Jews, including the new Jewish refugees from Germany and Austria, was estimated at 140,000. 90. Most natives were concentrated in the Amsterdam ghetto before being moved to Westerbork transit camp in the northeast near the German border. Deportees for resettlement leaving aboard the ENS passenger and freight trains were unaware of their final destination or fate. 91. As postcards were often thrown from moving trains. 92. Most of the approximately 100,000 Jews sent to Westerbork perished. 92. Between July 1942 and September 1944, almost every Tuesday a train left for Auschwitz-Birkenau and Sobibor extermination camps, or Bergen-Belsen and Theresienstadt, in 94 outgoing trains. About 60,000 prisoners were sent to Auschwitz and 34,000 to Sobibor. 72. 93. At liberation approximately 870 Jews remained in Westerbork. Only 5,200 deportees survived, most of them in Theresienstadt, approximately 1980 survivors, or Bergen-Belsen, approximately 2,050 survivors. From those on the 68 transports to Auschwitz, 1,052 people returned, including 181 of the 3,450 people taken from 18 of the trains at Posen. There were 18 survivors out of approximately 1,000 people selected from the 19 trains to Sobibor, the remainder being murdered on arrival. For the Netherlands, the overall survival rate among Jews aboard the trains for all camps was 4.86%. 94, 95. On the 29th of September, 2005, the Dutch National Rail Company Netherlands Spoorwegen, NS, apologized for its role in the deportation of Jews to the death camps. 96. Norway. Norway surrendered to Nazi Germany on the 10th of June, 1940. At the time, there were 1,700 Jews living in Norway. About half of them escaped to neutral Sweden. Roundups by the SS began in the fall of 1942 with the support of the Norwegian police. In late November 1942, all Jews of Oslo, including women and children, were put on a ship requisitioned by the Quisling government and taken to Hamburg, Germany. From there, they were deported to Auschwitz-Birkenau by train. In total, 770 Norwegian Jews were sent by boat to Germany between 1940 and 1945. Only 24 survived. 97. Poland. Jews are transferred to a narrow-gauge railway on the way to Kulmhof extermination camp. Following invasion of Poland in September 1939, Nazi Germany disbanded the Polish National Railways, PKP, immediately, and handed over their assets to the Deutsche Reichsbahn in Silesia, Greater Poland and in Pomerania. 98. In November 1939, as soon as the semi-colonial general government was set up in occupied central Poland, a separate branch of DRB called General Direction de Ostbahn, Koleje Zgodnia in Polish, was established with headquarters called JDOB in Krakow. Winking Sad Smiley. 98. All of the DR branches existed outside Germany proper. 99. The Ostbahn was granted 3,818 kilometers, 2,372 mi, of railway lines, nearly doubled by 1941, and 505 kilometers of narrow gauge, initially. 100. In December 1939, on the request of Hans Frank in Berlin, the Ostbahn direction was given financial independence after paying back 10 million Reichsmarks to DRB. 101. The removal of all bomb damage was completed in 1940. 102. The Polish management was either executed in mass shooting actions, see the 1939 intelligence action and the 1940 German AB action in Poland, or imprisoned at the corpses of Jews from the Warsaw Ghetto who died inside sealer boxcars before reaching Treblinka extermination camp, August 1942. Nazi concentration camps. 100. Managerial jobs were staffed with German officials in a wave of some 8,000 instant promotions. 98. The new Eastern Division of DRB acquired 7,192 kilometers, 4,469 mi, of new railway lines and 1,052 kilometers of, mostly industrial, narrow gauge in the annexed areas. 100. The Deutsche Reichsbahn acquired new infrastructure in Poland worth in excess of 8,278,600,000 zloty, 103, including some of the largest locomotive factories in Europe. The H. Sagierski Poznan renamed DWO, and Fablok in Kurzanau renamed Oberschlesische Locomotive Work now producing engines T-37 and PT-31. Designed in Poland, as well as the locomotive parts factory Barkok Zielanowski in Sosnowiec renamed Ferromeji, tasked with making parts to V1 IV2 rockets also. 104. Under the new management, formerly Polish companies began producing German engines BR-44, BR-50 and BR-86 as early as 1940 virtually for free, using forced labor. All Polish railwaymen were ordered to return to their place of work, or face death. Beating with fists became commonplace, although perceived as shocking by Polish long-term professionals. Their public executions were introduced in 1942. 100. By 1944, the factories in Poznan and Kurzanau were mass-producing for the Eastern Front the redesigned Kryegslok BR-52 locomotives stripped of non-ferrous metals and instead made mostly of steel. Locomotives in that battle's pace were not expected to survive for long, so managers eliminated the use of higher-value metal like bronze, chrome, copper, brass, and nickel. 98. Before the onset of Operation Reinhard, which marked the most deadly phase of the Holocaust in Poland, many Jews were transported by road to killing sites such as the Chelmo extermination camp, equipped with gas vans. In 1942, stationary gas chambers were built at Treblinka, Belzec, Sobibor, Majdanek and Auschwitz. After the Nazi takeover of PKP, the train movements, originating inside and outside occupied Poland and terminating at death camps, were tracked by DHOMAG using IBM-supplied card-reading machines and traditional waybills produced by the Reichsbahn. 42. The Holocaust trains were always managed and directed by native German SS men posted with that express rolled throughout the system. 105. The transports to camps under Operation Reinhard came mainly from the ghettos. The Warsaw Ghetto in general government held eventually over 450,000 Jews cramped in an area meant for about 60,000 people. The second largest ghetto in Lodz held 204,000 Jews. Both ghettos had collection points known as Umschlagplatz along the rail tracks, with most deportations from Warsaw to Treblinka taking place between 22 July and the 12th of September 1942. 106, 107, 108. The gassing at Treblinka started on the 23rd of July 1942, with Tupendunum trains delivering victims 6 days each week, ranging from about 4,000 to 7,000 victims per transport. The first in the early morning and the second in the mid-afternoon. 109. All new arrivals were sent immediately to the undressing area by the Sonderkommando squad that managed the arrival platform, and from there to the gas chambers. According to German records, including the official report by Brigade Führer George Ernst Stroop, some 265,000 Jews were transported in freight trains from the Warsaw Ghetto to Treblinka during this period. The murder operation, code-named Großaction Warsaw, concluded several months before the subsequent Warsaw Ghetto uprising, resulting in new deportations. 110. The 1942 Hawthorne telegram of the total number of victims, most of whom were transported by train to Operation Re in hard death camps, including cumulative numbers known today, is as follows. Location numbers and notes. Belzec quoted 434,508. Real total of 600,000 with 246,922 deportees from within the semi-colonial general government alone. For contemporary research, 111. Majdane quoted 24,733. Cumulative number of 130,000.